Hey friend, thank you so much for watching. This is Jose. Today I want to talk to you about the number one thing that will keep you unfulfilled and away from your goals. But first, I have a free audiobook that I want to give you so that you can begin to change your mindset. It's called Run to Win. Make sure you check out the show descriptions and download it today. If you are a wife or want to be a wife and you want your husband to listen to you, listen to me. If you are a husband or want to be and you want your wife to respect you, listen to me. If you are a student and want to be all who you were created to be, then you need to listen to this. If you want to thrive in God's purposes for your life, then listen to this message, okay? There is a rule that if we consistently apply, we can get what we want. This rule is called the no complaining rule. Have you ever met people who are always complaining? What do? Normally, you run the opposite way because complainers tend to drain those around them. They complain about everything. They complain about the weather. It's too cold. It's too hot. It's too sunny. It's too cloudy. It's too expensive. It's too hard. It's unfair. But consistent complaining will keep you consistently unhappy and unfulfilled. Here are the real statistics about your complaining. 80% of the people who listen to you complain or read about it on Facebook don't care. And 20% are glad you have problems. Negativity will affect a few things. Number one, negativity affects your morale. Number two, it affects your productivity. Number three, it affects your environment. In other words, you subtract when you are negative. Negativity will also affect your purpose. It will also affect your relationships, your productivity, your outlook on life. Everything in your life is subtracted when you are negative. Paul writes this letter to the church in Philippi. He writes this letter in Philippians from prison. Philippians is a letter of encouragement actually to the early believers in Philippi. I want you to notice how Paul is encouraging this church even while he is in a situation in which he had all the right to be negative. But being negative would have subtracted instead of add to the situation and relationships in that moment. Are you subtracting or adding to the relationships in your life? Paul begins to thank them and encourages them in this particular passage in chapter 2, verse 14. He says, do everything. Not just the things you like or enjoy. No. Not just the things that will get you applauded or recognized. Not just the easy things. He says do everything without grumbling or complaining so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God, without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. In other words, when we complain as followers of Jesus, we block others from seeing Christ through us. But when you refuse to complain, when you fight the urge to complain, even when you have the right to complain, Paul says, then you will shine like the stars in the sky. God knows we need people who will shine in this generation. When someone doesn't work out or something doesn't work out for you, or resist the urge to complain. When situations don't work out the way you thought they should work out, don't complain. We should adopt the model of Charlie Brown, who always said this: it could always be worse. Isn't that the truth? Complaining will rob you of your promised destiny. Throughout the story of the Bible, there are the people called the Israelites. They were God's chosen people, and God promised them that He would deliver them from 400 years of slavery. That's right, 400 years of captivity. And God fulfilled His promise, and He raised a man named Moses who would lead the people out of slavery to a promised land where they could worship God freely and enjoy all God had in the land. But in the process of walking towards their promise, they complained. They murmured. You have to guard against negativity and complaining in the process. Just because we don't understand how God does it doesn't mean He lost control of it. They complained and complained and murmured and complained some more. They wanted to go back to slavery. Negativity will make the unattractive look attractive. And the tragic part about this story is that they all died in the wilderness. Finally, God canceled their journey. They all died without seeing the promised land. Why? Because consistent complaining will keep you consistently unhappy and unfulfilled. Let me ask you a question. Has God given you a promise, a desire, a dream of what could be? Do you believe that God can bless you where you are? Do you believe that the best is yet to come? Friends, resist the urge to complain. We must fight it with all we have. There's two reasons why we complain. Number one, we feel fearful and helpless. Number two, out of habit. Let us not miss all God has for us because of our complaining. Consistent complaining will keep you consistently unhappy and unfulfilled. Imagine what will happen in your life if instead of complaining, you gave thanks because He was working it out. Imagine how will your mindset change. Imagine how will your relationships improve. Imagine if we serve without complaining, how will we shine like the stars in our workplace and our businesses, as CEOs, as fathers, as moms, in our home, in our schools. Imagine how attractive we would be if we shine. That everything we did, we would do it without murmuring or complaining. It could happen. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, I want you to take the no complaining rule challenge. For 7 days, you will not complain about anything or anyone, no matter what. Will you be tested? Absolutely. But will you take up the challenge? If you will take up the challenge, I want you to leave me a comment and I want you to tell me I'm up for the challenge because I want to become all who I was created to be, because consistent complaining will keep you consistently unhappy and unfulfilled.